hate white people. Every last iota of a cracker, I hate it. You want freedom? You're going to have to kill some crackers. You're going to have to kill some of their babies.
Perhaps, Mr. Chairman, in a separate hearing, these very, very serious allegations of a pattern of behavior to the Department of Justice, sworn testimony that indicates there's a pattern of behavior of refusing to enforce the laws in a racially neutral manner, ignoring the voter intimidation in Pima County, Arizona, ignoring voter intimidation in Philadelphia, the Ike Brown case where attorneys in the department were harassed. So we've got sworn testimony. And the reason it's relevant, if I could, in conclusion, Mr. Chairman, point out that the Department of Justice is asking for a $145 million increase in the Civil Rights Division funding for this year, Mr. Chairman, and that includes funding for 815 staff positions. That's a 14% increase in manpower and an 18% boost in spending. I want to make sure American taxpayers are getting their money's worth, Mr. Chairman, that money's being spent in pursuit of cases in a absolutely blind and racially neutral manner, no matter who it is. If they're intimidating voters, if the voter registration rules, that's another question, Mr. Chairman, Section 8 of the National Voter Registration Act. We've got sworn allegations that it's not being enforced. The states are being allowed to keep garbage lists, and the DOJ is charged with cleaning up those lists. I think it's worth very careful inquiry, Mr. Chairman, to determine whether or not these out. Mr. Fattah says it's false. We've got sworn testimony it's true. We need to pursue that in great detail.
Well, if I could, there are just a couple of things. First, the people in the Black Panther case did not admit their guilt. They did not appear, and a default judgment was entered against them. But
they did not contest liability.
When you said admit, that's an affirmative action.
But they did not contest it.
I think that the quote that you read from that gentleman, that this was the greatest affront in the history
that he'd ever seen.
I mean, that
personal opinion.
But I mean, think about that. When you compare what people endured in the South in the 60s to try to get the right to vote for African Americans, and to compare what people were subjected to there to what happened in Philadelphia, which was inappropriate, it's certainly that, but to call that, to put it, describe it in those terms, I think does a great disservice to people who put their lives on the line, who risked all for my people. My wife's sister integrated the University of Alabama. When George Wallace stood in the door and said that she, as a state resident, could not attend the University of Alabama, Vivian Malone, who I'm proud to say was my sister-in-law, to compare that kind of courage, that kind of action, and to say that the Black Panther incident, wrong though it might be, somehow is greater in magnitude or is of greater concern to us historically, I think just flies in the face of history and in the facts. I just want to assure again the American people that the allegations that somehow, some way, this Justice Department does things on the basis of race is simply false. It is simply false. Anybody who makes that contention is not telling the truth, is not familiar with the facts, or has a political agenda. It is simply not true.
I hate white people. Every last iota of a cracker, I hate it. You want freedom? You're going to have to kill some crackers. You're going to have to kill some of their babies.